Today I just want to do a quick video, hopefully quick, about the cart that I built for these Rep X PÉPIN, aka Reppin dumbbells. So what I'm going to do is talk about some of the design features of this, why I built it the way I did, some of the inspirations for it, because it's not a super original concept. After that, I will get a little bit into the materials and like how it was constructed. It's not going to be a detailed like step-by-step tutorial, but if you are someone who's capable of building a stand like this, then I should give you enough information to like go off and build your own version of it. So some of the inspirations for this, first of all, the stand that Darko built, which was on wheels, and he built it out of some leftover cross members. I think he had like Dumbbells on it originally. Now he has Reppins on it. But yeah, that was like the first one I saw. The other one was a user on the home gym subreddit, Crazy as Carl, and he made a similar stand out of wood. His was coated with like garage floor epoxy, which was kind of cool, and he had a similar holder in the center for adder weights, which kind of gave me the idea to make my version of that. I definitely wanted to have it on wheels so that I could roll it around the gym, because this gym is a pretty tight space and I want these out of the way when I'm not using them. And I also want to be able to set them up wherever I need them. It's super nice to be able to roll this around and park it just wherever is most convenient for the exercise I'm doing. I do incline dumbbell press right now. I do seated overhead press. And I just set up the bench where I want it, and I put this right in front of the bench so I can just run through my warm-ups really quickly and get my working weight, do my set. And then when I'm done with the set, I'll just put them back in the cradle and they stay there until I'm ready for the next set. So it's really easy. And to be honest, I don't know if it's just the space that's really tight in here, but I genuinely prefer lifting with these dumbbells on the cart where I can roll them right around and set it up right where I want it, compared to when I had the rack full of fixed dumbbells. I would have to grab a pair of dumbbells, go over to the bench, do my first warm-up, get up, put the dumbbells back on the rack, grab the next pair of dumbbells, go back to the bench. And then by the time you got to like, you know, if I was trying to do a work set with 100 pounds, by the time I'm like up to 80-pound dumbbells, yanking them off the bottom rack and wrestling them over to the bench and doing my set, and then I got to put them back, and I'm like bent down like this trying to get them on the bottom tier. And then I have to grab the hundreds and get those off and get them set up and get them up onto my knees and then kick them up for the set. It's just so much extra effort that I do not miss that at all. I love the rolling cart setup. So my recommendation is, if you have Reppins or any other adjustable dumbbells, get some sort of a rolling cart if at all possible. If you have a uniform surface in your gym where you can roll a cart around, it's so worth it. Whether you build your own or buy one that's is going to be coming out commercially with wheels, it's great. So just to show you how it rolls, just push it like this, bring it over here. This is basically where it lives when I'm not using it. Right up next to the cable tower. I can still get around the rack to get bars off of the wall and get all the cable attachments from the wall control. This is like the best spot that I could find in the gym where it's not interfering with other things. Part of why I made it wide like this is because this space right here is where I deadlift. When I deadlift, I turn this very specifically kind of like that, so that the bar goes right here and I can still load plates on the end of the bar. It's kind of open when I turn it like that, and I can fit the plates on. So then when I do want to do like dumbbell presses or something like that, I just come over here, roll it back into the middle of the floor, and ready to lift. So it had to be on wheels. The other thing is it had to be walk-in. Okay, so the big thing with some dumbbell stands, like the Titan one or some of the older power block stands, is everything's in front of you. So you're like reaching forward to grab the dumbbells, and now you have all this like extra stress on your back and like a lot of unnecessary fatigue just to get dumbbells out of a rack to set up for like a bench press or whatever you're doing. So being able to walk in where the dumbbells are nice and evenly spaced on the sides of your body and balanced front to back, and then just pick them up from there is what you want. And then going along with that, the cart needs to be the right height. You need to get the height right. Probably the most important thing. What does that mean? For me, I knew that I 100% wanted to be able to unrack the dumbbells by just standing up and have them completely clear the tops of the other plates and the cradle so that I could walk in and out just like this, okay? Without any chance of it hitting. I don't have to worry about that at all. As long as I'm standing remotely upright and not, like this, they're not going to hit. I can walk right in, put one down, put the other one down, and I don't have to worry about banging them around and smashing them. Not only does that prevent the dumbbells from getting smashed and dinged, but it makes it much easier to handle them, and it saves your lower back from constantly working and straining just to get the dumbbells off the rack and into position for the lift. So even with 120 on here, it's not particularly difficult because you have great leverages just bending down, picking them up, right? So what I did is I took the dumbbells and I just rigged up a way to check the height. I stacked up a bunch of random objects, my bench, stall mats, and a chair with some other stuff on it. So I could set two of them next to each other and just adjust up and down the height to try to find the perfect distance from the floor that I wanted to make the top surface of the cart. Now that's going to vary based on your height and how long your arms are also. If you're a bench press specialist with, T-Rex arms, then you can probably get away with having the cart higher, even compared to somebody that's the same height with long ape arms like I have. So I'm 5'11", and I have the ape arms. For me, that works out to about 18.5 inches. That's this top surface here that the actual cradle sits on. It means that when I stand up straight like this and I have my arms straight, that they clear, not just clear, but clear with enough margin of error that I don't have to worry about it. Because I know if I'm carrying the 120s and I just finished a set and I'm tired and fatigued, then I'm going to probably be like drooping down a little bit more, right? But I can still get these in here and really not worry about them hitting as I walk in and out. And just to prove that, I'll do the 110s, so there's still a plate left because that actually sticks up higher than the cradle. So here's the 110s. I can walk these in and out. And then place them like so. Now, I have seen a lot of other DIY stands. I've seen people use different stands, like ones that were made for power blocks or Dumbbells or Snodes or whatever. And then I've also, of course, seen the Black Widow cart. Honestly, a lot of these stands seem like they're going to be just too tall for most people. The Black Widow stand is 22 inches high, and that's if you don't have the wheels on it. If you put wheels on it, it's 24 inches high, which, you know, like I said, this is 18 and a half. If this was another 5.5 inches high, I mean, think about it. It would be, there's not 5.5 inches to spare there, you know, there. So then I would be coming up to the rack and then having to lift it up and get it in. And try doing that with 2 dumbbells at one time. I would say if you're looking at the Black Widow cart, contact Dean ahead of time and like see if he can customize it to your height. So another thing to consider is the width. I made this fairly wide. I wanted this to be wide enough that I could comfortably stand inside of it without my knees, you know, banging into anything. Because it's up on wheels, my feet fit underneath the bottom board, so I don't have to worry about those hitting, even though my actual toes are wider than the inside edge of the board. And then the other thing is the angle. So I sort of tested various angles, and I tried to find one that was close to just how the dumbbells naturally hang at my side. So, you know, if I'm walking around, walking them in and out, they're naturally angled in a little bit like this. They're not like perfectly parallel. So it didn't make sense to me to make the cart perfectly parallel like that. I wanted it angled more naturally where my grip was so that the dovetails would line up a little bit easier. But as far as the angle goes, I think it's probably going to vary and be a little bit different for everyone. So you can just experiment and find what works best for you. One more benefit of making it wide enough to stand comfortably inside, as well as making it low enough that you don't have to worry about the dumbbells hitting, is that you can do exercises just standing right here. You can just pick up these dumbbells. You can start doing some curls, right? One thing I like to do as the last exercise on my arm and shoulder day is just wheel it right out here in the middle of the room where I know that, you know, there's nothing in the way, and just stand right here and do a drop set of lateral raises. So I start with the 30s and I go all the way down until I get to the 10s, and then I actually take the adder weights and I hold 2 adder weights in each hand, and then I put 2 of them down, so I just have 1 adder weight in each hand, and then I actually finish with just my arms at the end. Another one is shrugs. Put them up to 120. Shrug away. And you can do all that without having to take the dumbbells anywhere. And without worrying about smashing them or having to like lift them up higher to get them back onto the rack, because who wants to mess around with that? And then specific to the Reppin dumbbells, you're going to want a place to store the adder weights. I knew I was going to be spray painting my wooden cart, and I was a little concerned that if I made the adder weight holder just out of wood and spray painted it, that, you know, over time it was going to get chipped and dinged, and the paint would wear off and it would start to look bad. So I was trying to think of what other material I could use, and I realized I had a bunch of leftover scraps of stall mat, as many of us do in our garage. So I actually made this out of 3 layers of stall mat. There's a 3/4 inch layer of stall mat in the middle, and then there's 2 layers of 1/2 inch. and one of the 1/2-inch layers has cutouts for the plates. So the plates fit very nicely in the grooves, and I don't have to worry about paint chipping off or scraping. So again, I just want to emphasize that it's very important to think ahead about the dimensions of the cart, especially the height and the width and the angle. Also, I would highly suggest putting on wheels if you can. Okay, so let's talk about the construction a little bit. It's just made of regular ass lumber from Home Depot. We have 2x6s for these 4 pieces. These are 2x4. And then the pedestal posts that the cradles are sitting on are just 4x4 lumber that's, one piece right next to the other. Now, I used construction screws to put all this together. I didn't actually glue anything, so hopefully I don't regret that down the road. I did put a little bit of effort into rounding the edges on the 2x6s to make it look a little nicer, and I did a little bit of sanding, but not probably as much as I should have. Honestly, like in hindsight, if I had known how much I was going to like this and how nice it was going to come out, I would have probably put more effort into making it nicer than it is, because some of the stuff I just shortcutted, like this piece down here, I didn't do a very good job of sanding it, and you can see some like ugly sanding marks from a oscillating multi-tool with a sanding disc on it, which is not a very good tool for the job there, but that's what I had handy. Yeah, and then I just spray painted it with a flat black Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch spray paint. So I definitely, personally, I really like the flat black look. I'm the glossy or semi-gloss paint, I think, does not look nearly as nice. It looks a little cheap in comparison to the matte finish. The holder for the adder weights, again, is made of stall mat. And then on the bottom, the casters are 2-inch casters. If I did it again, I'm not sure I would use the same casters. I might go for 3-inch casters to make it roll a little bit easier. But then at the same time, I kind of like that it doesn't roll too easily, because a lot of times I don't lock the casters. I did get locking casters on all 4 corners, but it really doesn't move much at all, even without locking them. So most of the time I don't lock them at all. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I am super happy with this, how it came out, how it functions. Honestly, I don't see myself buying any of the commercial options to replace this anytime soon. I mean, it does the job. I like the way it looks. It fits in with the rest of the gym here. No reason at all to replace it as far as I'm concerned. Well, I hope that was helpful and informative. If you have any specific questions or thoughts or suggestions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to try to start coming out with some more content about home gym stuff. I am going to try to do a more focused review of the Reppins themselves at some point, as well as I want to compare them to the power blocks that I've had for the last year before this, as well as another interesting dumbbell system that I haven't really shown anywhere yet. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe to see those videos when they come out, and thanks for watching.